All right, all right, all right. Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your engines!
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Remember what I told all my drivers? Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engines!
And gentlemen, start your engine!
And welcome back to another episode of the Green White Checkered Podcast. I am Andrew, joined with not Austin,
Not
but
Austin.
Joe and Zach. Austin,
Howdy.
Austin will be here supposedly. He's running a little bit late, but yeah, we got some Pocono, Zach's home track here that we're
Yep.
going to be talking about, and then some Indy recap. Yeah, our Survivor pool. I think Zach's just faking the numbers here, and he's still pulling away somehow, even though he's finishing like last.
I finished
But,
second to last. I didn't finish last.
Yeah,
Joe had that honor.
I swear I'm falling back, even beating you. But
It takes.
oh
a while
yeah,
to get.
we got a lot of news to talk about too. We got some drivers signings, we got some fines, we got some bankruptcies, a little bit of everything. So let's get into it. Pocono Cup race. Blaney wins. Hamlin finishes second. How are we feeling about the race, Zach? How did you feel about it?
Well, before we get into that, I have to admit that last week I had said something completely wrong about Xfinity racing in Canada. Andrew told me that Xfinity raced in Canada. I was so focused in on motorsport when I was making my argument, I completely forgot Montreal existed. I don't see them in the same country for some reason. Just, I guess Montreal is a different Canada than the one in motorsport's in, so I completely forgot Xfinity raced in Montreal. Anyway, no, that's corrected, and we all know that I'm a dumbass, which we knew before. Pocono. I don't know, man. I guess this is what you'd expect, but somehow worse. Like it just felt like you couldn't pass, especially the leader. I was kind of busy, so I was sort of half watching the race, but it didn't seem like I saw any passes for the lead on track. Maybe one, but it's just whoever's out front could just clear the field and just run away, and even through the pack, like you saw like a lot of the side by side stuff, but it wasn't like, I don't know, it's like sort of like fake racing kind of thing, like when two guys get side by side and they can just never clear each other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like we get that a lot with this car. I mean, NASCAR loves it. They're like, oh, side by side racing, but it's just they just keep stalling each other out, and then somebody will eventually just get a run on both of them and clear them both. So I don't know. It's Pocono, I guess. I feel like we've had better Pocono races before. It had some interesting strategy elements, but they were kind of interrupted by cautions and stuff like that, so that was annoying. I don't know, man. It just sort of is what it is. It doesn't give me much faith for the Brickyard, though. I'll tell you that.
Have we had better Pocono races, or have they just been kind of propped up by the whole Denny Hamlin Chastain, Denny Hamlin Larson last two races?
I think even I can't think of one off the top of my head, but like pre-next gen, I think we've had decent Pocono races. Like when I say a decent Pocono race, it's not like even a good Pocono race isn't like super great by standards of other tracks. You know, it's okay. Like I just feel like there's been better Pocono races prior. Now, to your point, I think, since the next gen, how many years is this? This is the third year next gen, right?
Third year, yeah.
Yeah. So like the first 2 years, we got to thank Denny Hamlin for making things a little exciting there towards the end and running guys off the track, which I don't think he really did, but putting them in the wall supposedly. Those finishes definitely added something to those races. I don't recall them.
He did Chastain. Larson had plenty of room.
Yeah, I think Chastain was more egregious. But yeah, I think Larson had plenty of room. I think people over-exaggerated the shit out of that. But yeah, it's Pocono. What are you gonna do?
Yep, Joe.
Yeah, I echo a lot of what Zach said. I just feel like I just rewatched the highlights before this to kind of refresh. It just, I don't know. It just like even comparing like the Cup to the Xfinity race, it felt like that there was a whole like 30-second to 1 minute clip in the Xfinity highlight where three guys battling for the lead, like on not a restart, and you didn't have that in the Cup. Like Zach said, it's like it's fun for the first lap, like every track it feels like with next gen, or since like really the low horsepower, it's like, yay, fun restart, and then they're all strung out immediately after, so it's not fun. And then the passes kind of like aren't really passes, and it's just it didn't seem fun. The only real action you had was, we'll get to it later with the Kyle and Corey wreck, and I don't know, I didn't feel like I feel like old Pocono races, there was more emphasis. Oh, it's gonna be a fuel mileage race. Like people are really counting their miles. They gotta hit the right time. And it's just like, yeah, there's
Yeah.
some of that. There's some of that, but these stage breaks kind of nuke that a little bit, and it's not the Pocono we grew up with.
Yeah, like you said, there was some strategy trying to go on, but every time there was a caution. I mean, I know Denny was trying some stuff. You had Blaney, that's how he got up there. Blaney Brad was up there because of it. And it's just I don't know, it's unfortunate because I wouldn't say Pocono's known for the great racing. It's known for the strategy.
Right.
And we didn't even get that just because you have the stage cautions, you have these cautions coming out mainly for dumb reasons. I mean, single car spins in this race, and then obviously the restart incident that we're going to be talking about. Uh, there wasn't any tire wear, so it was all fuel, it seemed like. And like Zach said, once you're in the lead, you're in the lead. We saw Ty Gibbs get like a 6-second lead, and then in pit stops, he fell back because people stayed out. He never recovered, and it was just that all race. You saw, Hamlin and Chase kind of going through the field, but as soon as they started, catching the fast guys, they were stuck. They weren't really moving. I don't think Hamlin would have caught Blaney in 20 laps in this race. I think Blaney had it no matter what. So I don't know. It was a very mid race. I don't know. If I had to choose on a Gluck poll, I'd say like a 40%. I think it probably ended up around 60, but I just I don't know. I wasn't enthused by it.
Yeah. I mean, I like Pocono. It's a fun track. It was fun on iRacing, but it just I don't know. I mean, I guess it's one of those things too where like I have to temper expectations. Everything's not going to be Atlanta. They're gonna have Pocono is kind of generally a little more strung out anyway, no matter the car. So I temper my expectations, but it still wasn't fun. Like I feel like I missed stage one and I didn't feel like I missed anything like, oh no, I missed some cool racing.
Yeah. Yep. The dirty air in this car kind of just kills it. Any kind of racing you're going to get, it's the restarts
Yeah.
and that's it. So,
I mean, we know where this thing really sucks is, when there's only one lane and you got to follow somebody. And that's sort of how Pocono is, at least in two of the three corners. Turn one, you could probably maybe have a couple different lanes, but turn 2 and 3 are mostly single lane.
yep.
So, and then talking to that, just going back to my concern about Brickyard, that track is just a one lane track. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I mean, it's even
I'm,
more of a one lane than Pocono.
Absolutely.
yeah, I know.
So, I I have a little hope just because I think well, we'll get into it later, but I think it could work, but we're going to see more of the passing on like being set up out of the turns more than anything.
That's what it's going to have to be. You're going to have to set the guy up coming out of like, 4 and set it up so you're getting a good run on him. But it's
Yep.
like,
Get the draft, and then it'll probably be the guy that's 2 cars behind that ends up making the pass.
The trick of it is like, how far back can you be to not let dirty air just wash you out anyway? Because you can do anything you want to set them up, but if you're within 5/10 or whatever, a few car lengths, and you wash out, like that's almost too far back to be able to get a good run off the corner and pass them. So you might just be
It's
stuck.
gonna look like the Indy 500. I mean, it's the same thing. They can't get close because dirty air, and then they get the run on the straightaway. They get next to him, and then the guy's got to lift because there's not a second lane.
Yeah,
So
but I don't think we'll get as big of a run as they get in IndyCar. That's my
no,
worry.
yeah. I think you're gonna get, like I said, I think 2 cars will get side by side, slow each other down, and then that third car is gonna make it 3 wide, pass them both.
That's probably what you'll see a lot of,
Yeah.
if anything.
Yep, 100%.
But that all happened like mid pack. You won't really see much of that in the front, I don't think, because they're just going to be going so much faster. Because as you get further up, the clean air is more impactful. You have less dirty air, and it just gets more and more difficult as you move up. So I don't know how much we'll see that in the top 10 or so.
Yeah. Ooh, I just realized I messed up on our head-to-head stuff. Zach,
Ha!
oh, you're still the lowest, but you're tied now.
Tied with what?
With Austin and Joe.
Well,
I messed up. I had so me and you picked Kyle over Ross,
hmm
and I gave it to Ross, and he definitely didn't win. So
no, he didn't.
Joe and Austin get knocked down to 3 out of 5, and you go up to 3, and I got 4.
Hey, look at that! I didn't do so
Yeah.
bad.
All right. So yeah, let's get back into it. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Ross Chastain ends up wrecking by himself. Just spins, wrecks car. This makes a lot of difference with the playoffs because now you have Bubba closing in. He's what, 20 something behind?
Not that far.
Yeah, I think
Within
it's like
reach.
27. Yeah, 27
Yeah,
points.
27. Yep.
So we got 5 races left until the playoffs.
Mhm.
That's 100% achievable. I mean, it was before, but now it's very achievable.
We're,
And I
we're back
think
to that close battle that we were at before. Whoever it was that won and screwed everything up. Yeah,
Bowman.
no, it wasn't Bowman. I think it was before that because Bowman was
Logano?
above the cut line. Anyway.
Joey,
that's it.
yeah.
He's the one who screwed up the cut line. But yeah, I think we definitely have at least those two. I don't know if I forget where everybody else is at after Bubba, but I think at least
Briscoe 75 behind.
yeah, that gets a lot tougher. I think Bubba's the only one within striking distance, so that'll be a fun thing to watch, I guess, as we get closer to the playoffs.
Yeah. And then let's see what else we got. We got the Busch LaJoy incident. It was restart.
Da-da-da.
Kyle Busch throws a block. LaJoy
Didn't like
ends
it.
up spinning Kyle. I want to know what you guys' thoughts are on this because I have mine. I'm sure Zach has his. Joe, what's
Ooh.
yours?
Number
Mine
one,
might surprise you.
number one Kyle Busch fan. Zach, take it away.
He just went to you.
I did. I went to you. I was
Yeah,
gonna
you
wait.
did.
That's Joe's opinions. A regular
Well,
podcast.
he said number one Kyle Busch fan, so obviously Joe.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's the one who had the fire, not me. So
Ooh, that was certainly a decision by Corey. Obviously Kyle was right to block him, and you could I heard on the LaJoy was trying to get back on the track. Like, well, yeah, but he didn't have to wreck the whole field for 30th. I'm not surprised they did not penalize him because then you turn into the FIA for penalizing the smallest little touch between cars. I mean, I haven't heard or seen like what Corey said after that. Like, I'm sure he didn't mean to intent wreck Kyle in the whole field like that. So, but yeah, LaJoy, man, he just can't get out of his own way. He feels like he wrecks every week now, and he gets what's his face, Rodney Shoulders next year. So,
Yep.
oh boy,
make or break season next year.
Yep.
Zach, what are your thoughts on the incident?
Corey LaJoy is a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. I think so. Kyle throws a hard block on LaJoy. LaJoy's mad. I get it. I don't think LaJoy was necessarily trying to clean Kyle out. I think he was trying to ship him into turn one a little faster than Kyle wanted to go. I don't think he meant to clean him out. But there was, Kyle bounced off the rev limiter, so maybe that made him lose a little more momentum than LaJoy was expecting. So what was probably meant to be a, sign of displeasure with a bump turned into cleaning him out and setting him in the infield, then back up into the traffic. Did LaJoy have a reason to be mad? I don't know. I guess it was a late block, but you're racing back there in 20th, whatever. That's just what they do.
Yeah.
So yes and no. I don't know. It's whatever, but I don't think he intentionally meant to wreck him. I do think he meant to hit him though.
Yeah, at first I was like, yeah, LaJoy just shipped him and spun him going to one, but I think the broadcast made a really good point to where LaJoy might have just been trying to get in line, and the in-car of Kyle's shows him bouncing off the rev limiter. So maybe,
yeah,
maybe Corey thought he was going to be clear and the timing was just wrong because Kyle stopped going forward and that caused it. I just, the whole NASCAR coming out and saying they're going to investigate it just kind of blew my mind because this is a racing incident, right?
Yeah.
It's not like he right hooked him going into one and like tried to injure Kyle on purpose. It was a racing incident, you know. It sucks that there was multiple cars taken out, but I don't know. You can't be given penalties for this because then you're doing it every week because there's wrecks every week.
The weirdest thing I thought about the whole thing was like how Corey was like adamant, like, I'm not going to apologize about it. That's what I thought. That's what makes me think he meant to hit him, right? Because he's like, I don't want anybody end anybody's day, but I'm not going to apologize for it. Like, so that tells me you meant to hit him. you meant to give him a shot. And he was also talking about like, there was the first block and then Kyle blocked me again. So like, no, there was no second block.
No.
Corey said that in post race a couple times. So it's like, I don't know. I think he definitely hit him on purpose. I think the outcome wasn't what he expected, but I mean, his zero remorse for everything and his sort of explanation of how it happened, even though clearly it didn't happen that way, just tells me he meant to hit him. He just doesn't want to make the cardinal sin of saying, yeah, I meant to hit him. Nobody wants to admit that because we know what happens then. As far as penalizing it, I mean, I don't know. I don't think so either. I hate the idea of NASCAR making decisions based on how social media is reacting. Like, that's terrible. Like, even as a Kyle fan, like, if you make a decision that this was a racing incident and that's that, then stick by it. Like, don't because Kyle Busch fans, including myself, are on Twitter bitching about it. That doesn't mean you go and change the rules or change the, like, that's wild. Like, imagine the NFL, after a football game, they go back and change a guy to having a holding penalty because everybody's bitching about the refs not making a holding call or something dumb like that. Like, you can't do that. Like, if you have a call, you're the officiating body, stand by it and take the heat of if you made the wrong call. Like, that's just wild to me. But yeah, we can't be penalizing, like crazy. Like, I agree with that. I don't think we want to be penalizing too much on driver incidents. I think when it's clearly intentional wrecking, yes, you can penalize for it. I think the penalty for it should vary, to be honest. Like, I always thought if you just spin a guy like harmlessly to the infield, you should get like an EOL. Like, that's not that big a deal. Like, you should get a penalty because you are impacting the race. You're changing the race dynamic in some way. So I don't think you should get off like scot-free. You should get an EOL or something. And then maybe, if the outcome is more severe, like you intentionally wreck somebody and they take somebody else out, now you start getting into a heavier penalty because now your impact is greater to other people, kind of thing.
Yeah. Like I had mentioned earlier when we were talking about this in Discord, is dirt track rules. You're involved in an incident, you go to the end of the longest line. You get involved in multiple incidents, they send you off the track. So,
and I don't get it. They're able to police it without SMT data, without 100 replay angles, without all this other stuff. Like, dirt racing or short tracks in general, they're able to police and officiate this kind of stuff fairly efficiently and make calls in the moment.
Oh, they definitely get it wrong though. So
I'm sure they do, but
yeah,
we have the capability to not.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, I don't understand how the biggest form of motor racing in the United States can't do that.
Yep.
I mean, even if you got to review it, like I don't have a problem. Like, F1 and IndyCar do it. Like, this incident is under review, and then hand out a penalty. If, like, you don't have to do it that second. You can have a team of people that are looking at it, and if 10, 15 minutes later they decide, okay, this is penalty worthy, or no, this isn't penalty worthy, then okay.
So
I think
my
IndyCar
thing.
honestly does a really good job of it. If you ever seen their officiating, they do really good.
Yeah. So here's my thing: is I think you could easily do this in NASCAR. Have 2 or 3 people watch a video, literally a video right there and then of the incident, because guess what we have? It's not like F1 where there's an incident, they just throw, a local caution. We stop the race. We drive around for 10 minutes at a slower pace. So I think there's plenty of time for them. Yeah. But
I mean, I
don't want to be that way.
You grab the scanner. I mean, I think you can be that way within reason. Like I said, I think IndyCar does a really good job of it where they lean on most of the time. They just rule as or racing incidents. Like we think about like penalizing for driving stuff like that, like F1 and the FIA, how they're like really strict. Like if you look at another car, oh, you're sitting, that's 5-minute penalty. Like they get pretty wild. I think IndyCar has a really good balance where like they tend to lean on just racing incidents unless it's like a clear
Yeah.
kind of thing. So I mean, I think you can have like some sort of driving policing without being too hands-on and being too into it. And then that's where you just review it. And if you have a set of guidelines, fine. This is totally fine. This is just racing incident.
Yeah, this kind of goes back to our Nashville, talk where we had Lane Riggs get a 2-lap penalty during the race, and then on Sunday you get Carson
It's just we're all over the
intentionally
place.
wrecking somebody. They're like, "Oh, we didn't see it." So you didn't see it. Everybody saw it. We saw it on the broadcast multiple times, but you didn't see it. Come on.
It's just we're all over the place with this stuff. And then you got Bubba who got. I mean, I said about Bubba. I said about in our Discord about you penalized Bubba for bumping Alex Bowman $50,000, but you're not going to give LaJoy anything, and you guys are memeing me. But my point was more about like Bubba's fine was ridiculous. Like you give Bubba $50,000 for that for bumping Alex Bowman. It's just silly. And then you park Lane Riggs, you give Hocevar a fine, endpoints. Like it's just all.
We're hopping into the news. Bubba Wallace gets a $50,000 fine for
I
intentionally.
forgot we didn't talk about that. Bubba gets $50,000 fine for hitting Bowman. Yep, which is also ridiculous.
Yeah, I said last week, give Chase and Bubba $10,000, move on.
That's it.
Bubba gets 50, Chase gets nothing. And now we're sitting here.
How does Chase not get anything?
In multiple weeks, we have one guy get a 2-lap penalty. We get another one that gets a $25,000 and a 25-point penalty. We get one that gets a $50,000 penalty and one that's off scot-free.
All for basically the exact same thing.
The same thing.
And that's what always going to hold NASCAR back is they're so dang inconsistent. They don't know how to enforce their rules.
They're inconsistent because they low-key want this stuff. They want Alex Bowman getting hit by Bubba Wallace. They want Corey LaJoy to have spun out Kyle Busch. They like this stuff because it's engaging. It's excitement. You have wrecks. It gets people talking. It's a highlight, especially at a track like Pocono where not much goes on. They like this stuff, but they can't admit they like this stuff, which is why if you just have some guidelines that allow you to police it loosely, I think it's fine. Then you can just you can establish these, lines in the sand that allow you to penalize consistently, at least.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Before we really hop into the news here, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button. We're growing. We need to grow a little bit more, and those thumbs up and subscriptions help us tremendously. It costs you nothing. Just hit the thumbs up. So, all right, back to the news. Noah Gragson signs a multi-year deal with FRM. Good for him. I mean, sticking forward. I still, it's just weird to me that you have Noah sticking with a Ford when he was a Chevy driver. You got Briscoe hopping over to a Toyota. It's just all over my mind. But yeah, Noah to FRM.
When there's not enough seats to go around, manufacturer alliance means nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, which brings us up to the next thing. And this is a rumor. I don't know if it really has too much momentum, but apparently Heim is going to stick to the trucks in the 11 Tricon. And Herbst is going to the 3rd charter for 2311.
I hate it. I know why, but I hate it.
It's all about them dollar bills.
Yep. Well, then there was that other tweet flying around that confirmed the Herbst thing and that Cole Custer goes to the Haas Cup ride. Duh, that's not a secret. And that Deegan gets the Xfinity Stewart Haas car with Monster.
More dollars.
Which is again not shocking, but hate it.
Yeah, I don't know about the Xfinity because we've heard Priest is going to stick. Well, he's going down to Xfinity supposedly. And then Cole Custer's moving up. So there's a swap for the 00 and the 41. God, do not put Deegan in an Xfinity car. She needs to go race some late models. She needs to go to run the Cars tour. She needs to do something and actually get some skill. I know the 15 car didn't run good this week, but we've seen her on track. It's not the team. She's pretty awful. She was awful in the truck series in a truck that was decent. She's awful in the Xfinity when she was running. It's not the team. Maybe a little bit. A lot
There's
of
a
it's the
common
driver.
denominator. A common
Yeah.
denominator.
Well, it's like
amongst all that.
you got to get what the car can get at least, right? Like if you have a 15th place car, you got to get 15th kind of thing.
Yeah.
But not just wrecking out constantly. It just seems like that's all she does.
Well, yeah, that's the only time we saw her is when she's wrecking out or she's wrecking somebody else or something along those lines. And like everyone's patting her on the back. Oh, she finished 12th at Martinsville. Yeah, because she ran through everybody. Like, look at the car from Martinsville. It had no front end on it. I'm pretty sure the radiator was broke. There's pictures of it of her standing next to the car. It's fucked. So
Right.
you're not racing well if you're just running through people. Sorry, but
Nope.
I don't know. Yeah, so we got that. Charter talks not going well. Still, it's getting down to
Nah.
it, guys. I don't know if
Yeah.
NASCAR is just trying to put the teams to where you either accept it or you don't type deals. Or
Sounds like that's per what Denny said. It sounds like that's where it's going towards.
The impression I get is they're trying to get like your smaller teams to what they want to. It seems like to me they want to separate the teams because right now they got the team alliance and they're all bundled together. They're all in. We're in this together. I think what NASCAR wants to try to do is like get smaller teams to commit to the deal, to whatever the new charter agreement is, and make it sound tasty to them, and you weaken the alliance by taking out smaller teams out of the agreement. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just anything that makes the team stronger, I'm all for. So whatever. I think this is just NASCAR being NASCAR and saying you play in our sandbox kind of thing.
Yeah. Denny Hamlin said it costs $18 million to put one car on track a year, and he wants NASCAR to basically pay for that. Yes and no in my mind. Make NASCAR pay half.
Yeah, half.
You got sponsors.
I'd be interested to know how much they're paying.
I would too, but
you say you got sponsors, but I think what Denny's argument is, because I've heard him talk about this before, is we were just talking about it. Riley Herbst's going to 2311. Why do you think that's happening? Because they need sponsorship money. So if you take that dependency away a little bit,
you're better drivers.
You can get your Josh Berrys, your Corey Himes. They can find success more easily, and you don't necessarily have all these paid for rides. So I mean, I get what he's saying. NASCAR, if you fund my car, I can still go out and get sponsorship, but as far as who I'm putting in the car, that's now on me. I can decide because I'm not so dependent on somebody who's just bringing a fat check from a premier sponsor.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. Like I said, the team's got to cover some of it. They can't just show up every week and then expect to make profit, in my mind.
I mean, and I'd like to see what that breakdown is. I don't know what he's actually talking about in that cost, what's all associated with that. I'm sure he's not saying have the team spend a total of $0 throughout the year to drive the car. I'm sure there's still costs associated with it. I'd be curious to know, is that like building the car, taking it to the track, bringing it home, racing it? What is all involved in that 18 million exactly? Because I think you're right to a point. Like if he's calculating in that 18 million is also my 4 engineers that go into setting up the car. I think that cost should come out of the teams because you are going out and hiring talent and paying them a salary that you think is attractive to get them in. So I think that, staffing essentially should be down on the teams. That should definitely be a team expense.
Yep.
Just for example.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's basically parts for the car, tires for the race, fuel for the race, and then I don't think staffing's in it. Because what did we hear for tires? It was like $2 million or something like that for tires alone.
He said a 4-car team will have like $1 million in old tires that they can't do anything with, or that they don't do anything with at the end of the year. So I don't know. They make them buy all their tires. If they can use up to 8, they have to buy all 8 on a weekend. So I don't know. I'm sure it's a lot. It definitely adds up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think NASCAR needs to be a little more flexible. I don't know if the teams are what they're asking for, if that's outrageous or not, but I know NASCAR makes a shitload of money. So
they do.
Yes, they do. and they double dip. We've gone over that, how it's a percentage. So the track gets so much percentage, NASCAR gets so much percentage. Well, NASCAR owns a lot of the tracks, so guess what they're doing? They're getting both. And then you got, SMI just taking the money and pocketing and not putting it back in the tracks. So, yeah, I think the teams need to make something off it, because what we're going to talk about next, JD Motorsports has filed for bankruptcy. That's the Xfinity number 4 and number 6. They've laid off their employees. Kind of sucks to see them go. I mean, they've been around since 1983.
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, they've been around for a while, back when it was Sportsman Series. And they have 0 wins. I think they have like 4 top 5s.
Jeez.
And I think like 3 of them are Ross Chastain. Yeah, they're in the series. They're showing up for the races. They're not running well. It's the cars. But yeah, it sucks to see a team like that that's been around for 40 years just go. I mean, that team's older than I am. So, yeah, sucks to see.
Yeah, there's the money model across all 3 is.
Well, I mean, the money model in the bottom 2, well, in everything but Cup is different, because they don't have the charter system. So I don't know. I don't know really what the charter does. Like, I guess the pots
Guarantees
are
you a
bigger.
spot.
Guarantees you a spot. Are the purses bigger in Cup because of the charters?
I think they do get a bigger purse.
Yeah, they do get bigger percentage of it. So if you just show up and you win, cool. But I don't think you would get as much.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's how I understand it. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I
NASCAR
think it's a
definitely needs
percentage.
to. They definitely need to work on their costs in a reasonable way. I don't like. I mean, just like looking from like the schedule standpoint, like just having teams go. Like, I think Xfinity, don't they go all the way out to Portland?
Yep,
And then
back.
all the way back. Like,
Yep.
Doing stuff like that's stupid to me.
And I think to the truck, like Joey has said this, and I hate giving Joey credit, but he said like he would love to run more truck races or Xfinity races, but he, even a 2-time champ, has to bring a check with him. Like he can't just go to JD Motorsports like, hey man, I want to hop in with y'all. And they're like, do you got money? No, all right, see ya. To a 2-time champ, he can't. He has trouble finding a ride.
Yeah, but they come in and like expect a good car too.
That's true.
They're not going to hop in bottom tier equipment. I mean, we see it every week that one of these guys from the top series goes down to the lower series, and suddenly that car's competing for a win when it's a 30th place car every week. You see a lot with like the Jordan Anderson equipment and the SS Greenlight cars. And yeah, so they just get prepared differently. You're running basically their car though.
Right.
Okay, so that's it for news. You guys got anything else? And we'll go back to Xfinity. Oh, Daniel Suarez. He's getting married.
Yeah, he is. I heard that.
Good for him. He's getting married in Mexico. He's also going to run a race down there on August 4th, I believe.
I thought it was Brazil.
Is it Brazil? Yeah. I was like, I think it's Brazil in my mind. But so yeah, he's going to run down a series down there, and that's cool.
At Interlagos, right? However you say that. I think
Interlagos.
Interlagos. Excuse me.
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah, duh. Of course, I knew that.
Yeah, I mean, congrats to him getting married, and then be cool to see him probably go and compete, maybe. Okay, Xfinity Series, best race of the weekend, easy.
Always is.
I can't believe how good the cars race. It was nonstop. It felt like just 2-3 wide racing. You had a good 4-car battle for the lead most of the race until it was Jesse Love had a pit stop issue, a penalty, I think. And then it was just, I don't know, Byron Cusser, who ended up winning. Who the hell was the other guy? There's one other guy. Was it Austin Hill? Just back and forth. It was such a good race. Which, compared to the rest of the races this weekend, just it's out of place.
I mean,
but
Xfinity car is just the ultimate stock car platform. Prove me wrong.
True.
But with Custer winning this race, this is the first Ford win in the lower series this year. That's nuts. It's so close to the playoffs. That's the first Ford win in the Truck or Xfinity series. Other news on this one is towards the end of the race, it was like 8 or 9 laps
I
left.
thought Custer won before. That doesn't sound right.
No, this was his first win this year.
Really? What am
Yeah. I thought the same thing. I went back and looked it up. That's how I know.
I could have sworn he won something before. Or
Nope.
Ford did. Whatever.
Nope. But yeah, 8 or 9 laps to go. SVG's running 10th, and Sam Mayer decides you're not doing that, old man. Just completely dumps him going to the tunnel turn. SVG smiling in the interview, but I think he called him a wanker or something like that.
He did. That was funny.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not a Mayer fan.
Nope.
And I know a lot of people had SVG top 10 for bets. Again, Mayer's got the punchable face. I have at it.
Yeah.
Ty Gibbs looking at you.
He just reminds me of
Trucks.
Noah Gregson when Gregson was in Xfinity. Like I don't mind Gregson as much anymore, but like he's been humbled.
Cocky and just
Yeah,
over
but you're not like
aggressive
that.
and
You're not that good.
yeah,
You're not that guy, pal.
100%. Same vibes.
Yeah, so I just don't. I don't care for him.
Noah, since he's gotten into the cup, I like a lot more. He's
settled
having
down.
fun. It seems like.
Yeah, he's not
like he's showing a personality. He's kind of a marketing thing now, but he's likable. Whereas he wasn't in the Xfinity.
I mean, I guess we gotta remember these Xfinity kids are young, and when you're young, you're just a fucking idiot. So, maybe they just need to mature a little bit and sort of realize they don't have to be a douche.
Yep. Trucks. Heim destroys the field again. That's it. Nothing really to 5 wins this season. He is not the points leader though. Eckes is still leading the points.
You see some of them shots from his burnout? They're pretty fucking cool. They're like
I didn't.
It's like like the sun setting. It's like a little wet around the area. Like it's kind of like the track's a little wet and there's water.
Yeah, they had a rain delay with like 10 laps to go, something like that.
It's just like a really cool, like picturesque moment.
Huh.
Yeah, it was like I remember speaking of the rain. It's like the only rainstorm on Sunday morning was on the East Coast, was right west of Pocono.
Yep. And it was just this little dot. And it was right over.
And I'm telling you, I haven't had rain for weeks. Like I legit haven't mowed since I don't know, mid-June. And the first like decent rain we get is when when cars are on track on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't it Iowa? It was the same thing. Like I hadn't had rain for weeks, and then all of a sudden, there's this race rain. Kansas was the same way. It had been a little chilly, but nothing. And then race day wasn't supposed to rain. It was supposed to rain like Saturday, but Sunday it rains. And it's like, what the fuck? So it's every week, man. Every freaking week. And it didn't affect the race this week, but it affected people getting to the race.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, that was crazy. I think that's 4 weeks in a row we've had rain on a NASCAR weekend.
Yeah, it's nuts. It feels like every week, honestly. But we talked about points. We talked about the bubble. Let's talk about the season points leader here. It's closed up. We got 4 drivers within 20 points. Chase Elliott currently leads. Kyle Larson 3 behind. Tyler Reddick 15 behind, and Denny Hamlin 20 behind. This is gonna be interesting.
5 races left. It's gonna be a tight one there.
Too bad we got the stupid playoffs because we could have a pretty fun championship battle to be watching.
Yeah,
I know. Yep. That's so sad. But we got what? We got 5 pretty different racetracks: Indy, Richmond, Michigan, Daytona, and Darlington.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
it's gonna be.
It's coming down to Darlington for the season championship. I kind of like it better than Daytona. I'll say that.
I agree. It's not like luck as much.
Yeah. But like looking at the 4 drivers and thinking about those tracks, I don't think Chase Elliott gets it. I think these all kind of play into Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick's hands. Especially Darlington.
Richmond's a Toyota track, so that's for Reddick and Denny. And We haven't raced Indy Oval. We haven't raced Indy Oval in next gen, so we don't know how that'll go. But
See, and I think that's going to be a Reddick Larson track. I think Darlington's going to be Reddick Larson, maybe Hamlin. Richmond, I'm kind of
maybe
up in the
Hamlin.
air.
Hamlin's amazing at Darlington.
He is.
He's very good at Darlington.
he is.
Yeah.
Good point. On
2-week break could slow some momentum. It 100% could. 100% could. I don't know. It's going to be a good finish, I think. But yeah, the 2-week break. We don't even know what we're doing for the 2-week break. I know Zach said he had an idea, but
did I?
Yeah, after Indy, you did. You said you had
God.
something.
I forgot completely already.
We'll figure that out and get back to y'all.
Yeah. But we'll be back next week with
I
some
just
Indy.
don't want Kyle Larson to win the regular season championship. Now I'm looking at it. I don't want somebody to like Martin Truex this and like clear the field and like they can just completely shit the bed for like the entire playoffs. Like Truex did nothing last year and he almost made it to the round of 4.
See, that's why I hope it's Reddick or Chase Elliott though, because neither of them have that many playoff points. To where when they get that bonus, was it 12 points or 10 points or whatever it is? Is it 15?
Yeah.
Like it just closes them up to, I mean, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin.
Like right now, Elliott with 15 extra playoff points would be 3rd.
Yeah. And Reddick would be tied for 2nd. So, yeah.
I don't want Larson to go into the freaking playoffs with, oh God, what would it be?
Oh my God.
38 points? Ugh.
Yeah.
That'd be so annoying.
Just walk to the Final Four, basically, like Truex. Rip Watkins Glenn had one playoff race and nothing after the season. Before we even go there, I think we'll see it again eventually. It's just the Olympics is messing everything up. We're going to be getting the schedule here soon, right? They were saying like a month and a half ago we were going to get this schedule.
If I was NASCAR, you know what I would do? I would release it not next week.
The week after.
The first week we don't have racing, so whenever that is. So we're racing this Sunday, the 21st. So I would release it like the week of the 28th, because the 21st we have a race. So that means NASCAR media has something to talk about that whole week. They'll talk about Indy. The 28th, you don't have anything going on, so I'm releasing it that week or the next week. You release it one of the 2 weeks you're off, because now you have no content coming out.
Sure.
Yeah. How deep will SVG playoff run be with Glenn and the Roval in the playoffs? Glenn is not in the playoffs for Xfinity. So let's see. Xfinity is Kansas, Talladega, Roval, Vegas, Miami, Martinsville, Phoenix. So
hey, final 8 for sure, right?
Oh, possibly, he's gonna
possibly Final 4, I would think.
I don't know how well he runs at Kansas. Talladega, he can probably get some decent points there. And then the Roval, I mean, even if he doesn't win, he's going to get good points. So,
yeah,
it's going to be attrition, right? I think we saw it last year where a lot of guys had problems at, Kansas and Talladega. So, I don't know. I could see him definitely advancing from the first one. Vegas, Miami, Martinsville, though, that's rough. I don't know if I see him getting out of that. So, yeah, I'm putting him into the round of 8. I think that's where he stalls out. He definitely does have a lot of points. I know I have it on the sheet. Maybe I don't have their playoff points, though. Wait. Oh, it's underneath this. Yeah, I don't have playoff points. It's also crazy to me that he is 13th in points with, 3 wins? That's crazy.
It's his high-low nature, because like he does terrible in the ovals, but then he just shits on everybody at the road courses.
Yep. Yeah. But no, I guess he does have a lot of playoff points. Those are awful tracks for him, I think. Just Martinsville.
How many playoff points does he have? Like what's like the top 4 right now?
Hold on, let me bring it up. I had it up. Playoff picture. Come on, NASCAR website. Oh my god. I don't know. Joe, you find it. You're better at finding this. The one I'm looking at is
Xfinity.
not showing, right?
Okay.
Playoff points.
NASCAR.
I had it up earlier. I was I won't need this, and now I need it.
I'll get it. Give me a sec.
But yeah. Oh, here we go.
You got it.
He
You beat me to it.
has. It still doesn't show me the points though. It just shows me where he's at. It shows me leading it with 463 points, and then Chandler Smith second with 657. So yeah, I don't have playoff points in front of me.
I got playoff points. Okay, so I have Algire's got 16. Chandler Smith has. Oh wait, that's not in order. Okay, SVG has 17. Algire 16. Chandler Smith 15, and then Austin Hill is 13. So it's your top 4 right there with playoff points.
Yeah, I don't see him advancing to the Final Four. Those other guys are still decently close. He stalls out.
Any man's game there.
Yep. I mean, he can win it, the Roval. Either way, I think he's going to get really good points. And yeah. Okay. Let's see. Iowa had IndyCar this weekend. Racing was meh, but we had a big wreck at the end of the second race. Thank God for the halo. That's all I'm saying, because 2 of those drivers, there's a 4-car wreck, 2 of them, both would have taken hits to the head. So yeah, aero screen.
Yeah,
love safety stuff. Okay, kill count. We're adding Corey LaJoy. Gave him 5, just because of the whole Kyle Busch thing. Racing incident in my mind, but he still turned him.
It was definitely still his fault.
Yep. And Survivor, Zach.
Let's see. How'd we do?
Austin won it.
Drake won with Denny Hamlin. Thank goodness we told him. So he won with Denny, who got P2. Andrew was second with Byron. He did better than I remember. Who finished 4th. And then I was third with Bubba, who got a P10. And then Joe had Justin Haley, who finished 22nd. So,
yep.
Yeah. So we're on to this week. Indianapolis. Joseph, who you got?
I have Dennis Hamlin.
Good pick. Denny wants to win there.
He does.
I'm sure him and Gabehart have definitely put a little extra emphasis on this week.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go with Bowman. Hendrick should be strong there, and he's been running pretty consistent lately. So
he has. I mean, he really has. I'm going Todd Gilliland, because he was in the tire test with Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. So
there you go.
It's a name. I thought about saving it for Daytona, but we're getting down to it, man. I'm running out of drivers.
I think I'm just gonna save like my Austin Dillon for Daytona or something like that. Is what I'm doing. Just some shitty driver, because I still got him left. Yeah, what are we down to after this week? 1, 2, 3, 4 races after this week. So yeah.
Yeah. And
we reset for the playoffs.
I still have Christopher Bell. Hell yeah.
Double check.
Yeah, I got Bell and Reddick, apparently. I swear I used Bell.
I went back through and I checked everybody's like the other day, so you should be right.
I'm not seeing them, so I'm good.
Yeah, I think you're good. I don't see him either.
Oh, I'll take it.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. And Austin hasn't sent in his pick, so we give him a 0 for the week.
Yep, there you go.
I don't think it's gonna matter. How many points is he back? 21. 21.
Yep.
We're resetting at the playoffs, right? With
no, that's not how we did it. No? We added the win bonus points last year. Is what we did.
Okay.
So like, for every week you win, you get a bonus point, and then we added that to the score. I'm pretty sure is how we did it. I'll have to
Okay.
look. I can look at the old sheet, but I don't think we reset.
Yeah, I don't remember. I thought we went down, but I could be wrong. And then yeah, reset all the drivers and start fresh
I
for
don't
the
think I have
final
that.
10 races.
I don't think I have the 23 show sheet pinned to this anymore. Oh well, whatever.
It's on the last page. Yeah. Well, bets, and this is gonna sound crazy, but I am gonna be on Kyle Busch this week. I think this is a track where Kyle can kind of come out of the slump and get some points. I'm not sure if he's going to get the win. Might dabble with the plus 3,000, but I mean, the top 5 or top 10 for Kyle Busch. Ooh, they do have top 10s up now. They didn't earlier. Where's Kyle? Plus 110. It's a little low, but I think he could get a top 10 easy. Other than that, I don't know. McDowell, I could see running well. Todd Gilliland at plus 500, maybe top 10. But yeah, we'll sit with those. Let's hop into our Indy talk here. Johnny Sauter's going to race the 16 at IRP. Yay.
Yay!
Josh Berry's got a Caitlin Clark paint scheme.
Yeah, saw that.
That's different.
For Panini.
Yeah. I wish I had Caitlin Clark money. Like if she'd just give me a little bit or something. That'd be pretty sweet. How about some head-to-heads, guys? It's the Ross versus Busher. I'm gonna go Busher.
I'm going Busher.
Joe?
I'm gonna go Ross. Be different.
Okay. Going Reddick I can't talk. Elliott versus Reddick. I'm going Reddick.
Chase.
Who'd you go with, Joe?
Chase.
Oh.
Who do you think he went?
Damn it.
Who do you think I went with?
Now I feel stupid for going with Elliott. I'm going with Reddick. I'm not going with Elliott. I changed my mind. I had Elliott down, but I'm not doing Elliott.
Okay. Logano Gibbs.
Gibbs.
Joe?
Let me go with Gibbs because I hate Logano.
Dang. Blaney
Got
Truex?
his ass. Blaney.
Truex.
Blaney. And Brad K and Bowman.
Bowman
Bowman the showman.
I think it's gonna be a Ford week, but yeah, Bowman's just on a roll. I think has Bowman's race there, right? Oval.
Should have. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, Bowman for me also. So there's a sweep for Bowman. All right. Well, we finished last week. I won, and then everybody else tied at 3, which is not bad. If we would have bet it, we would have all won money.
I know.
So, all right. Indianapolis recap next week, and we have nothing to talk about except for, I don't know,
Off weeks. Yeah, Olympics. Yeah. Woo.
So we'll let you know if we're going to be live any time for those 2 weeks. But yeah,
I think if they come out with the schedule, if they do release a schedule, we should do an episode.
Do a show.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have enough news to at least do one. But on that note, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button. I got nothing else, so see ya.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Green White Checker Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. For more from the boys and the podcast, be sure to follow us on Twitter at the GWC Pod for the podcast, at Biggles TV for Zach, at ShakenDrake_TTV for Austin, at Picks by Fitz for Andrew, and at J_Sully10 for Joe. Head over to thegwcpod.com to submit a question for our OnlyFans segment. Thanks again for listening, and we hope to catch you again next episode.
Football season may be over, but for frequency's sake still has you covered for all your sporting needs. Tune in every Sunday when the best professional wrestling podcast around, cards subject to change, gets you caught up on everything inside the ropes. They won't miss a count with weekly analysis and interviews. More into auto racing? We've got a double dose for you on the track. Tune in to Fast Money with Rod Villagomez each week and win some money with the quickest bets in all of sports. Want more insight from Pit Row? Check out the Green, White, and Checkered podcast where they give their insight on everything happening on and off the track. Need your basketball fix? Points in the Paint has you covered with live shows every other week looking at everything in the association. Backed by popular demand, we have the return of The Payoff Pitch, FFSQC's baseball show, covering you on news around the MLB. If you're missing football, don't fret. Mark and Dan still have you covered in the football lounge. Missing Joe Winkle? Probably not, but he's still here talking sports on Educated Ignorance. Football season might be over, but we've still got you covered. For frequency's sake, you know what we mean.
For Frequency's Sake is